Hey everybody, today on the Unnecessary Gourmet we're going to be making croissants. Let's get to it. For this recipe, we're going to be using bread flour and we're going to need about 4 2/3 cup of this flour. So I am using a half cup measure, half a cup, and with every scoop, you're gonna need to level it if you want. This is just to get like the exact amount. So we're gonna do 8 of these. Wait. So, to the flour, we are going to add 1/3 a cup of granulated sugar, 1 tablespoon of kosher salt, and 7 grams of active dry yeast. So, the first thing I'm going to do before I add anything else is I'm going to mix all my dry ingredients together. So you're going to want to put it on just the first part and wait till it's fully mixed together. So I'm making a well in the middle of my dry ingredients to pour the wet ingredients. So I have 3/4 of a cup plus 2 tablespoons of water here and half a cup of milk, which I'm going to pour into my dry ingredients. And now the milk. So I'm going to mix the wet ingredients with the dry ingredients till it turns into a smooth dough with my dough hook. This is going to take a few minutes. So I am going to take out the dough hook from this bowl, take the bowl out, and cover it with a damp towel to let it sit for 10 minutes. Rest for 10 minutes. Now that the dough's rested, we're going to put 1/4 cup of butter into the mix. Cut into half inch slices. So dough hook down, lock, mix. This may take a few moments. Longer than. So now that the dough is mixed, I am going to put it on a floured surface and turn it into a ball. So, after I do this, I'm going to make a seam in the bottom. Maybe like this big. Put it on top, iron on the bottom, facing down, and then cut a cross on it, which will help it turn into a square easier. So, now that you did this, we're going to put it in our bowl again, cross side up, and cover it with a wet towel. And let it rise for 1 to 2 hours. Now that the dough's risen, to almost double the size, it is time to refrigerate. You refrigerate for 4 to 12 hours. Or overnight. We're gonna let that sit.
Good night.
Bye. So, the next step is to make a butter block, which you are gonna use 1.5 cups or 3 sticks of good butter. So, what you're gonna do is you're gonna make it so they meet these, and you're gonna put it on a piece of parchment paper, and you're gonna make it so the two sides meet, and you're gonna fold it here too. And then put these two corners right here. Flip it on its side. And so now you flip the butter on the other side, so it's top facing down. And you are going to use a rolling pin to turn it into a slab of butter about a 1/2 inch thick. Very gently. So you're gonna want an 8-inch by 8-inch slab of 1/2 inch butter. So I'm gonna roll this out a bit long over here for it to be 8-inch by 8-inch. And refrigerate for 20 minutes. So now, after that, you take the dough out of from the refrigerator. Take it out of the refrigerator, and after you take it out of the refrigerator, you put it on a surface with flour on the bottom, and you are going to roll it into a rough square. You are first going to deflate it with your palm. So, you are going to want it to be roughly a rough square, no more than 8 inches on each side, which this is about. Yes, this is about 8 inches. So, now you put a large rectangle of parchment paper on the bottom and on the top, and you are going to roll your dough until it is an 8-inch by 8-inch square with right angles and flat surfaces. So, you want the dough to be a square, big enough so it can fit your slab of butter, so you can ultimately enclose the butter so you can mix it into the dough. So, now you you cover your dough in the parchment paper. You fold the sides, and you are going to put it in the freezer for 20 minutes. So, now, we're going to close the butter slab into the dough by turning the dough from an 8 by 8 square to an 8 by 16 rectangle. So, Now that you rolled it into an 8 by 16 inch slab, it's time to add the butter block. You're going to peel the top off and then and you are going to use the parchment paper to invert it so it is vertical with the dough. And you are going to fold it. So now after you put it, recenter it, you are going to put the dough so they are just touching. And so now you are going to make a seam. So next, you are going to flip the seam 90 degrees so it is facing you. So now that you did this, you are going to apply force and beat it down till you have a 24-inch by 8-inch slab. You're first going to beat it down, then roll it away from you, then towards you until it's 24 inches long. You are going to measure it to see how long it is. And it is 24 inches. So now you are going to cut off the parts that are uneven so you have a square. On each side. Now we are going to do what they call a book, where you fold it to halfway, and then to the other one, you do the same. Now we are going to cover it and put it in the freezer for 15 minutes. So now to put this in the freezer for 15 minutes, you put it in the fridge to refrigerate it.
1 hour.
For 1 hour. So now that you've refrigerated, you're gonna put it on a floured surface and roll it till it's an 8 by 16 inch strip. Boom. So, after you rolled it to a nice 16-inch slab of dough, you are going to fold it like this, and then fold the other one like this. now that the dough has been folded, you are going to put it in some parchment paper, wrap it in the parchment paper, pick it up, and put it in the freezer. Never mind. Okay. Thank you, Cass. So now we are going to freeze it for 15 minutes and then refrigerate it for an hour. After that, we are going to do the same process another time so we have a thin dough that's ready to be made into the croissant shape. Now we are going to fold it in thirds and roll it again. So, after you rolled it till it was thin, you cut off the other edges. My dad is doing this because I am sick and I don't want to get the pastry germy. And you fold it. Then you put it in the freezer. The refrigerator. And chill for 12 hours. Before the baking process, we are going to proof them, which means that we are going to help them rise by creating a humid environment in the oven. So, we are going to first put this water . And then, so, we have put the water in the oven, and we have taken this out of the refrigerator to let it sit for 15 minutes. Now, we are going to roll it. So, now that you have gotten yourself a 14 by 17 inch slab of dough, you are going to trim off all the parts of all the edges, so it's a square. We're going to trim off the least amount. So, now that you have rolled it and cut off the sides, you are going to cut it into 4 equal strips. And then so, now we are going to cut each one of these strips into triangles by going corner to corner. That one's weird. That one's weird. But this one, I can feel it. So, now you are going to take each one and stretch it out a little bit. So, now you are going to turn it into the croissant shape by stretching it while you turn. Keeping the point centered. And then you put it on a tray to bake. So, now we are going to put these 2 trays that have 4 croissants in them to not clutter them. And we're going to put them in the oven with a steamy environment for about 2 hours till they double in size. So after we proofed the croissants in the oven for 2 hours and let them chill in the refrigerator for 15 minutes, we are going to glaze them in a mixture of egg white and cream. So you are going to get it and gently lather them. Okay. Gently lather. So, now that we have baked them for 20 minutes, we are going to transfer them to a cooling rack. So, there you have it, your homemade croissants. So let's test them out. Good. If that's not alright, subscribe to my channel and leave a like if you like this video. Bye.